So Lindsay's over there, not paying any attention at all. She's on her cell phone. And that's the topic I want to talk
Are you serious?
to Sharon about this morning.
Get out.
Sharon
No, it
Roberts is a relationship expert with relationshipsfirst.org.
Oh, good.
Oh, good. She's putting down her cell phone. I can't wait to talk to Sharon about this. I'm just saying.
My gosh.
Hey, good morning, Sharon. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, Sharon.
Good morning.
So, Lindsay's over here. I'm trying to do a show, and she's on the phone.
I was updating our Instagram.
Okay, But here's the ultimate irony that I wanted to talk about and bring Sharon in on this. Kids today have thousands of friends on social media. They're on the phone all the time, but aren't they losing the ability to actually talk to people? To actually have real relationships?
It's really tricky. It's a thing we see. It's been talked about more, which, we think is good. Anytime you bring awareness to something like that. In fact, recently a UCLA study found that 54% of teens say they are lonely. And when you think about the fact that, aren't they talking to their friends? Isn't all the screens that they look at, aren't they talking to people? How could they possibly be lonely? But it seems to be causing the opposite problem. It's making them feel even more disconnected rather than connected with people.
So you're connected, but you're not really connected. Lindsay and I have talked about this a lot, that a lot of folks have lost the ability almost to communicate one-on-one, face-to-face.
Right.
Yeah. And, relationship skills, that's what we call them at our organization. I work for an organization called Relationships First. And relationship skills can be taught like anything else. It's like learning a language. It's like learning a science. And we're not just born with a natural ability to connect with people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of things, we think that, that should be natural. I mean, if I enjoy being around this person, I guess we'll just get along and connect, right? But there are things that you can do in order to do that. And if we don't teach each other, or if there's not, something for the kids around us to emulate, or anybody, right? It's not just kids at this point, it's all of us, right?
Right.
When we don't have those examples of, how do we have conversations? How do we start sentences? Like, what do we do? Like, I remember, when I was little, phone etiquette meant like the way that you answer the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Or somebody would call, we answer the phone, and my last name was Roberts, and so, we would say, Roberts residence, how can I help you? And it sounds so formal now, but I was given instruction on when someone's talking to you or when someone calls, this is how you respond. And, I don't think they're getting that anymore. Now it's more just a free-for-all.
It is a free-for-all, and you got the texting, and I think, isn't the use of emojis kind of a fake way of trying to say, this is what I mean, here's a little smiley face, here's a smiley face with a little teardrop. I mean, we're trying to, because we don't know how to talk anymore, and you misinterpret with texting.
You do misinterpret with texting. That's a big issue. So I will, and this part's just an opinion, I'll be honest, I do like emojis sometimes because at least people can show emotion, because part of the reason that texting has no tone and it has no emotion, which is a major part of the
Except
problem.
you can yell with caps. I did learn that.
True.
That's one thing that
you know that you're yelling with caps.
Right.
Talking to my mom all the time, I'm so proud of her. She recently has really gotten into texting because she knows that's the easiest way to communicate with me. But sometimes I think she's mad at me because she has a lack of emojis, or it's just one quick sentence. And it sometimes I interpret it as being short, but it's just her. She's not used to text lingo as it's evolved.
Have you ever asked her if she'd prefer to do phone?
Yes.
And what is her answer, Lindsay?
Of course, I would always love to hear your voice.
Yet you refuse.
Oh, no, I don't refuse.
I'm sorry, Sharon. You might have to get in between us.
Yes. We need some counseling.
I'm just saying, younger generation, don't
pigeonhole.
No, look.
Don't do it.
Your mother gave up like I gave up with my daughter. Uh-huh. Because the only way she responded was, oh, he called. She texts back. Mm-hmm. Oh, that was trying to Pavlovian get me into I guess I'm supposed to text her back and she will respond. Am I going down the wrong path, Sharon?
No, I mean, we learn things, right? Mm-hmm. So, if you call and people keep texting back, then you just say, oh, okay, well, I guess it's just text.
Did you communicate the fact that you wanted a phone call?
Yes.
Ugh. My eyes hurt so much they're rolling.
I'm so sorry. All right. Well, but at least with phone, because you can hear the nuances in a voice.
Yes.
And in texting, there's no nuance except emojis.
Mm-hmm. Which you should see his face. Clearly, he is not a fan of the emoji.
No, I'm a fan. I mean, look, I've given up. I have to do it that way.
You have to do it in emoji?
I have to
you
communicate via text. I have no choice.
You know, one thing that for me personally, something that helps sometimes is just to acknowledge like the things that I've been talking about with people over text or things that I see on their social media to try to bring it into real life conversations. Like, oh, you know, I saw the article you posted, or, you know, oh, that was a really clever response the other day, or something like that, when I do see them in person to acknowledge, because it helps bring it out of feeling like it's a completely separate life.
That makes sense.
Doesn't it? I mean, sometimes it just feels like it's like, oh, it's like this other thing. And then when I see the person, I'm like, what do? I just had this whole conversation with them the other day by text, but now we're in person. What do we do?
Mm-hmm. That makes sense, kind of bringing it out of the context.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because I don't, you know, we're at a point where we're not going to ever go to a place where we don't have, you know, I was going to say smartphones, and who knows what it's going to be in 50 years. I don't know. But, you know, it's like I don't think we're ever going to go back to not having devices. So I think the question is, how do we work with that? How do we maintain relationship skills? How do we make an effort to try to stay connected to people? And so I think what's good for us to remember is that it does take effort. You know, it does take learning relationship skills. And so even if it's just something small as acknowledge the thing that you texted about or posted on social media, just to make sure you're bringing that into real life and it doesn't feel like just this thing that happens behind a screen, that can help.
Right. Well, what do you do with kids and, well, young people if that are feeling lonely? Because they have 1,000 friends on Facebook, and I wonder sometimes if Facebook and other social media puts more pressure on them to respond to things. I'm not explaining this right, but you see, Lindsay has posted these wonderful things on her Facebook page or on her
FOMO.
Instagram.
Are you talking about FOMO?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I go, oh man, I'm not living that life. I'm just sitting here at home in my parents' basement, and I've got to, I don't know.
Does that play a factor into the loneliness, the FOMO factor?
Oh yeah. Because I think, we look at other people and we're like, oh, they're having such fun lives and we're not. But they're not posting the everyday mundane stuff.
Right. They go grocery shopping.
Yeah.
Right, but they don't post it. All I know is Lindsay's going here and there, and I'm not.
I love how you're talking at my life like it's so exciting. Please keep doing this. It's making me feel good.
There you go, Lindsay.
Well, it's just an interesting phenomenon, and do you have suggestions for folks on how to overcome that? Is it just really, you have to get outside of that box, don't you?
You do. I mean, we would definitely encourage, learning how to talk to people in person, for sure, because you're going to lose everybody. Our deepest need is a sense of belonging. So for a while, I think social media had this hope of filling that need, and it's not doing it.
So what's a good way to practice talking to people in person in your everyday life to just kind of dip your toe into the pool, look up from the phone a little bit?
Sure. At our organization, we teach a process called Safe Conversations, which exactly is kind of the stuff that we've been talking about. It's nice to have someone walk you through how do you have a conversation, especially when you want to talk about a hard subject. So you can start conversations with things like, is now a good time? That's huge because sometimes people are super distracted. You got to help get their attention and be like, oh, we're talking right now. Okay, hi.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, and then, after they tell you something, repeat it back and say, hey, did I get that? Which I think also helps, in a world where we're very distracted, we're doing a million things. You're talking to somebody and then they look at their phone and then they come back. And
that's never happened between me and Lindsay.
I'm sure.
Oh, she's giving me the evil eye.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm talking to her a couple minutes ago. She's on the phone. I know she's updating, but...
Again, women multitask. I can't be here for your beck and call when I've got 1,000,010 things that I need to be doing. So she's right. There are people that multitask, and that if you ask, is now a good time?
But Sharon, do you feel the pain in my voice?
Oh. She feels a pain in mine. That's what she's feeling.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sharon. I know you were answering a question, and I'm messing with you both.
I love the question. I love the examples, But yeah, there are little things like asking is now a good time is huge. It does kind of reset, and people are like, oh, we're talking for a second. Maybe I shouldn't add this to my grocery list right this second. Okay. And then after someone tells you something, then say, hey, is there more about that? To let them know that it's safe to keep talking to you about that. Sometimes I think, especially with texting, I know that I try to say things as fast as possible. I'm leaving out details because I'm trying to text it, and so it's getting really short.
Right.
And so, when you're talking in person, let somebody know that they can expand on that. Let them know that you care about what they have to say. And simply saying something like, is there more about that? Can help them feel really safe to be like, oh, okay, this is a person I'm connecting with. They care about what I have to say. That's nice.
And then that would work. That does
would.
encourage a little bit more conversation to continue. Mm-hmm. As opposed to my normal thing was, will you get off the phone? That's probably not a good technique. That's what you.
So you want people to call you,
right?
But you want them to get off the phone.
Maybe we should let them stay on the phone because at least they're not texting. I don't know.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay.
See, Sharon's so nice.
She's
she's wonderful
nice.
to you.
You're putting it. Yeah, thank you. Boy, I need therapy. Is what it is. But Sharon, thank you so much for talking with us. I wish I had more time to
delve into this.
Into it because it would help considerably. And now
I feel like we've already made some headway in our communication.
Yes.
Woohoo!
Yes.
Anything we can do to help, guys.
All right.
That's so great.
All right.
Yes, thank you.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Have a good morning.
You too.
You too.
Bye.